Hi, parents. Well, congratulations on your child finishing their very first day of distance learning. I've been thinking about you guys and praying for you all day long as parents. I know that this process is totally unknown and totally new, and I'm sure that there were a few bumps in the road today. So I wanted to send you a quick note of encouragement and then also a couple updates for you. So, first of all, wherever you're at, pause and give yourself a nice pat on the back. If you're watching with somebody else, another adult in your home, give each other a high five because you did it. You did your first day of distance learning for your kids, and I'm sure it was a roller coaster of good and bad, pretty and ugly. And so, whatever happened today, let's just take a deep breath together and know that tomorrow is a new day. So, um, I wanted to just be a little bit vulnerable with you all, teachers to parents and human to human. This is totally new to me, and I have been feeling for the last week and a half now since finding out that this is how we were going to be commencing for a couple weeks. I just feel like my wheels are spinning, and I'm trying to create things that are meaningful and purposeful and will keep your kids up to date with where we were and where I need them to go. And so I feel super thankful to be able to do this, but I also feel super overwhelmed. And so I know if I'm feeling that way, I can imagine that there are semblances of you feeling that way as well. So um, I want to kind of lighten the burden a little bit for any of you who are taking a lot of this onto your shoulders. I want to lift some of it off and lighten the burden a little bit, giving you a couple of clarifications and updates. So, first things first for clarifications. The work that you picked up yesterday and the work for this entire week is a lot. Some of it is optional and some of it I designed as mandatory. So, because we're figuring this out together, I'm going to give everybody for this week's worth an E for effort for whatever has been accomplished. I'm going to look through what your students turn into me on Tuesday. I'm going to give feedback. I'm going to assign grades for the things that are completed, and the things that are not completed, I'm going to disregard because I know we're all figuring this out together. So, that being said, whatever your child is able to accomplish in a day is great. Let's use this week to get our feet wet. Let's use this week to get our kids back on track of doing academic work every day. Let's learn from what's happening here and apply it to next week. So, for those of you who need some concrete steps of how we're going to do this, I want to tell you a couple things about what I expect moving forward, and I hope that this helps to lighten your load a little bit. Um, First things first is that I know the work is a lot. Second is that if your kids are not able to get through it, it's okay. I'm not going to hold it against them, and I'm not going to hold it against you. I am definitely reevaluating how I've structured the lessons and the workload, and I'm going to make it easier and lighter for next week. So know that I'm currently brainstorming a plan that is more manageable for you and is more uh, will allow me to be a more capable teacher because I'm working beyond what I should be, and I feel like I'm overwhelming you, and I don't want that whatsoever. So I'm going to be doing some rethinking of how to make this better for next week. I'm sure that you have seen Mr. Jackson's announcement by now that this is going to be continuing until May 1st. So, a couple things that that means for us is number one, this time is critical. For us, being able to do distance learning is a huge blessing. I know that it's challenging and it's going to be very imperfect. But that is a big chunk of kindergarten. Now, the good news is we're all in the same boat. So this is schools and kids across the nation. So if some slip back occurs, all teachers are going to be prepared for that next year. So I don't want you to worry about that. However, because we have the ability to do distance learning, I want to make sure that I'm giving your family things for your child to do that are purposeful, that have meaning. I don't just want to give you a packet stapled together that's a waste of your kid's time. So just know that whatever the activities are that I create for your child, they do have purpose. It's not busy work. It is part of our curriculum, and I'm just trying to do the best I can to utilize the time that we have in distance learning. Um, that being said, I do not want to stress your family out. I want to be a support for you. I do not want to be a stressor. So, if there are subjects that your child is really struggling in, and the way I've structured the activity is not helping, please skip it. Let me know what the struggle was so that I can figure out how I can better support you guys moving forward. But if, for example, your child is really struggling to write sentences in their daily journal, then instead of having them do 5, have them do 1 at the end of the week and choose any of their sight words. That's okay with me. Um, if they have a hard time with the reading comprehensions pages, have them listen to the story. And if one of the pages isn't making sense, I don't want you to spend hours trying to figure out what I meant or what it was. So either shoot me a question or have your kids skip it. So, whatever is causing stress and tension, if it's something that can be easily answered by me, please email me or message me on Class Dojo. I'll respond as quickly as I can. But if it's overwhelming, if it's too much, just skip it. So, that being said, I want to kind of focus in a little bit on a couple of the assignments that I would think are more essential than the others, so that if the workload is way too much for your child, maybe just focus on these things for this week as we figure this out together. So, first of all, the most important language activity is the daily reader. So if you need to skip everything else in the language and reading section and only do the daily reader, and maybe a word work activity just to have your kid practice their sight words, that's fine. Um, the science activity is pretty simple and the kids love it. So that would be a good one to keep on your child's agenda. Um, then also math. I'm making math really simple and the kids fully work with me to the video. So that is a really easy hands-off activity for you. You don't need to sit and monitor your child as they do that. Just make sure they have the video set up and their packet out and they are good to go for that entire activity with me. So those 3 things, daily reader, the science lesson, and the math lessons are the most hands off for you as parents. So those would be good ones to get our feet wet with. Any other activity that I have listed in the lesson plans that either don't make sense to you, is too much work for you as a parent, or your child can't do independently, please skip this week. No judgment. We're going to figure this out together and we will start fresh next week with maybe an easier approach for us all. So I look forward to hearing from you guys. I hope that some parts of this are going well for you, and the parts that aren't, I pray that God would just bring clarity to your minds and to your child's minds, and just peace in your household. So I love you all, and I'm thinking of you. Please let me know how I can better support you.